All right, everyone. So we are now live on YouTube. In today's training, we are going to be covering funnels and how they work. So we're going to cover what are funnels. We're going to cover organizing and getting your funnels set up so that you know exactly where everything's at and you can keep everything in a nice orderly fashion. We're going to discuss the difference between rows, columns, elements, and then we're also going to create a funnel from scratch, you guys. So it's going to be a pretty fun, packed training on funnels. So first off, what is a funnel? So a funnel is going to be a single page landing page that is going to offer an individual product or to book an appointment with you or a free guide, something along those lines, so that you have a lead magnet that's going to capture their attention and get them to click and fill out their information. Now, that lead magnet could be for, let's say, a seller's guide, or it could be for a free handout.
Hey, this is William.
There we go. Sorry, guys, had to mute William really fast. So this could be for a free handout. This could be for a seller's guide. It could be to book an appointment with you. So a funnel could ultimately be for anything, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just click create funnel right now. And we're going to start from scratch. So this is going to be a blank funnel. So the first thing that I want to cover with you guys in funnels is going to be rows. So you guys, a row is going to be a section of your site. It's going to go from border to border, left to right, horizontally. And inside of that row, or inside of that column, excuse me, you can then add rows. And so your rows can be one column wide. It can be broken down into two columns. So I'm going to show you all the differences here. So this is going to be a one column row. We'll go ahead and add in a two column row. We will add in a three column row. So you guys kind of get the point of this. As we add in additional columns, you can see that we can add more elements every time we add a column, and this stacks from left to right. And when we look at this from a mobile display standpoint, whatever is on here is going to stack top to bottom from left to right. So if we have two columns here, two rows here in this column, or two columns in this row, these particular columns are going to stack one on top of the other as you're building out that landing page for mobile. So you can also switch back and forth between the two. You can see once we move over to the mobile view actually displays everything right on top of each other. So we'll go ahead and jump back. So every single one of your columns here can actually have an unlimited number of rows. So what does that mean? We can continue to add rows as far down as we want in this particular section on the site. And you can see the differences in the box. So the green box is going to be your row itself. And then the blue boxes, or purple boxes, excuse me, are going to be your columns. And once these purple boxes have an element in them, you'll also see an orange box inside of that element, and then a blue box on the outside that covers your actual row once you start adding elements into them. So you can work on each individual section in a different way. So let's say, for example, I wanted to take this entire row and I wanted to change the color in the background on this. So let's say I want to make this a green color, right? And then I could actually go into each one of these individual boxes here, and I could change the color on these as well, so that we can have certain things pop and stand out as we want to. Now, in each one of these purple boxes, you can add elements. And so those elements are going to be displayed in the right column here. And you can see you also have a breakdown for all, text, form, media, custom, countdown, blocks, and then order and elements. Right, so if we take a look on the right side, our text boxes are at the very top. So we can do a large headline, we can do a sub headline, we can do a paragraph, or we can do a bullet list. We can also add buttons, we can add forms, we can add a video or an image. And those videos are going to be videos that you can either use embedded code, you can use a URL from YouTube, you can use a URL from Vimeo, from Wistia, or you embed the custom code here. And you can see here's an example of an embedded code. We jump back out. Images, all of your images are going to be pulled from your media library. and you'll be able to access all images directly from your media library. You can also organize this and create folders, so that way you can organize all of your media into one place. So let's say you were working on one particular funnel and you wanted to organize that funnel with all of the images for that particular funnel in one folder. You can do that. So it's really good to make sure that you keep organized when you're working on or building these funnels from the ground up. Now, what I'm going to do, now that we've kind of gone over a couple of different areas and sections of what you can do inside of a funnel, what I'm going to do is we're going to pull up one of Russell Brunson's funnels, who is the ClickFunnels funnel hacking guru, and we are going to clone one of his funnels. So what I'm going to do is go to facebook.com/ads manager, no, excuse me, /ads/library. And once we get to ads library, we're simply going to go ahead and search under all ads. We're going to search for Russell Brunson. And here he is. Awesome. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the funnels that he has, that he uses on a daily basis. Now, if you guys don't know who Russell Brunson is, he is the founder of ClickFunnels, and he is a world-renowned coach and helping small businesses grow, get their name out there by using his particular software, which is ClickFunnels. So he has a ton of different coaching programs that are available that he offers, and every single one of his ads that he's running here typically has a different landing page. So that one is view on Instagram.
What did you say
So
he was with?
scroll down. So he is the owner of ClickFunnels, and he actually has a ton of really awesome books. So like this is one of his books. It's called Traffic Secrets, and he just has some really awesome hacks to grow your audience, really build your following.
He's like the king and creator of funnels, and different online marketing has grown so much because of Russell Brunson. Truly,
absolutely. So what I'm going to do, you guys, is I'm going to take a look and see if I can find one of his shorter funnels that we can funnel hack. And I'm going to show you two different ways that we can do this. So if you guys want to see how you could create a funnel for your industry or your niche, then you can always go on Facebook and on Facebook ads library, and you can search your competition in your marketplace. So you search your industry type. So real estate agent, roofer, general contractor, anything along those lines. You can go ahead and pull up your competitors' websites. And if it is a ClickFunnel, you can import that funnel directly into your Leads to ROI, so that you can create a funnel within a matter of a couple of seconds. And I'll show you guys that here in just a second. But I want to pick out one of his smaller ones. I know that he has about 30 different funnels that are active at any given time. So I know a lot of these are rather long. So I'm looking for a particular one that I know is on the shorter side. All right, let's actually kind of start going through these. So this funnel, you can see this is rather long. There's a lot of copy to it and a lot of writing that you're going to have to do to recreate something like this, or actually funnel hack Russell Brunson. It's definitely a really good practice to go and write out and build all of this copy and complete your funnel from A to Z. But we want to start with something today that's a little bit lighter and not so long. So if we go and take a look at each one of these funnels, the majority of these are very, very long form. This one is quite a bit shorter. So this is one where he's actually just breaking down this particular training in the video and telling you where to go and look. It's not offering very many things, so I'm going to keep looking for another funnel that is potentially a little bit shorter. This one is very basic as well, but super short. Just a form at the top. Looking for something that pops a little more. All right, this is just a one page. Let's take a look here. And I'm going to go just a little bit farther down this list. See what other funnels we can find. All right, so let's take a look at this funnel scripts, for example, here. So I'm going to show you guys two different ways that you can funnel hack your competitors if they are using ClickFunnels. And ClickFunnels, you guys, is the leading funnel software. There are more people using ClickFunnels to create their website or individual funnels than any other platform that is out there when it comes to funnels specifically. Now, if somebody's building out a full website, you may have those followers or those users disperse off to something like Wix, or even a leads to ROI style platform where they can build an entire website with multiple pages and have everything linked together and create automations. But there are a ton of users out there, especially in the real estate industry, utilizing ClickFunnels to grow their business. So if you guys want to take a look at your competitors' funnels, go ahead and search in Facebook ads library for them. What I'm going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to back out and show you two different ways to build this particular funnel so that you guys can see how simple it is when you have a ClickFunnel, and also how simple it is when you just want to build something from scratch. So I'm going to actually delete this funnel step and start over so I can show you guys. And we're going to add in this ClickFunnels address, and we'll go ahead and make this path test 1 and create. So what this is going to do is it's going to pull in everything from that ClickFunnels software. And where you see a headline, there should be a headline that displayed. Where you see the top of the page will be displayed. Anytime there's a logo, a button, anything along those lines, all of that info then gets displayed directly on your site. Now we can see this is a little bit different from the actual site that we're looking at. I've got to find this particular funnel again. So this is the one that we are using.
Hey, I got somebody in the lobby.
I'm sorry?
I invited somebody, if you guys can let them in. They're in the lobby.
Oh, awesome. Just let them in. All right, so we're going to go ahead and exit out of all of the rest of these tabs and just focus on this one funnel. Something that's short and sweet, but it's got a little bit of meat and potatoes to it. So when we take a look at this, one of the first things that we can see that didn't upload properly when we imported this is that this image right here is actually the background image on this, but that background image isn't populating. So one of the things that you could do if you were going in and funnel hacking is you can shoot or take a photo of yourself or your business and do something that's going to catch their attention right at the very top of this funnel. So I'm gonna, for purposes of today's video, I'm gonna jump into stock.adobe.com and we're gonna grab some images, and I'm gonna just look for Superman. All right, so let's just say that we want this eye-popping image here at the very top of the page. And I'm actually going to go with this one right here. I'm going to go ahead and license this. So let's say we want to take this image and put it into the background of this section. All we have to then do is go ahead and go to background image, and not relocated items. We need to go to upload that stock image. Once that's uploaded, we can go ahead and double click that, and the image is then added to the background. Now, one thing I'm not liking about the image is that it was taking up more space than what was available in the background. So you do have image options here so that you can adjust the actual image and make that make the image stand out the way that you want it to. Right. So the next thing that we would do is we take a look at the very top. We've got a logo here. So I would start by going in and I would add a new logo to this section. And go ahead and add your own logo in there. So this is all about just funnel hacking, making things super simple and getting the ball rolling. And William, yes, you are definitely good to take that appointment at 2:30. I'll keep rocking and rolling. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a logo into the top. The next thing that we would do is anywhere that there is a headline, we need to go ahead and change that headline to something else. We can't just copy what we see on someone else's website line by line verbatim. If we are funnel hacking, we need to make sure that we aren't, stealing anybody else's work. Somebody else took the time to write out their website. You got to take the time to write out your own and not plagiarize. So let's just say, for example, this particular website was going to be for a seller seminar, and you wanted to meet with homeowners, have homeowners join your have homeowners come to this particular landing page, whether you're sending out direct mail with a QR code, you're running ads on Facebook, anything along those lines, and you're driving those folks directly into this, you could go ahead and change this up, and you could say webinar. So this is a free webinar. There's no cost, but time is very limited. I think what he did here is a great job in adding in a couple of like, hey, this is a free webinar. There's no cost, but time is very limited. So he's pushing the urgency in this copy and what he's sending out. So there are no costs. You could actually go ahead and change this up, and you could say this is completely free. And then what we could do is go ahead and bold the free. Space is limited. So we can get the exact same message across without copying any of the actual, without copying their plagiarizing, without plagiarizing their sentences or their words, by simply just going in and reading what they have to offer and then making some changes to that. So how to get all of your sales letters, scripts, and webinar slides. So for this is all about the product that Russell is pushing. So what we will say is how to get into your dream home in the shortest amount of time with the least amount out of pocket. All right, so let's go ahead and let's take a look at this text. Let's say how to get into your dream home. Let's bold this, make it 2 words. Let's bold this. And let's make this really stand out. Let's say capital H, capital D. Let's go back to here, and I'm going to unbold this and this in the shortest amount of time, and unbold this with the least amount out of pocket. So that way, dream home, shortest amount of time and least amount out of pocket all stick out. And so I'm going to say this in as little as 90 minutes. Let's actually, so basically what this is a call to action line. So in as little as, what he's saying is as little as 10 minutes without hiring an expensive copywriter. So he's pitching a particular software right now that helps you write copy. And so what we can do is we can say in as little as 30 days. All right, let's say without dealing with the hassle of buyers. So let's say if we were to use this as a seller seminar that we were targeting out to either a FSBO or anyone that's out there, maybe somebody that's selling their house could potentially be thinking about selling their home for sale by owner. What we have here is a countdown. And so this countdown, you can actually go ahead and change the colors of this or change up how you want that text to actually be displayed. I'm going to actually go ahead and take a look at some other options that we have for this, because I don't like the way that that is displayed in this particular section. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I want to make this pop from the background. So I'm going to go and actually darken up this background color here so that that will pop a little bit more. That one's okay. And let's actually change this color to white so that it stands out, and we'll change the label colors to white as well. So we can have a countdown and a timer. So let's say we have a webinar that's on a specific date and time. Let's say that we have this at 4:00 p.m. And let's say that webinar is tomorrow, 7/28, 4:00 p.m. You can see that we now have a visible timer that is counting down here that anyone that goes to your site will be able to see. Now, the next thing that we're going to do, so we're going to jump over into, next thing that we're going to do is I don't like how this is directly below class begins. So I'm going to actually add a little bit of padding to the very top of this. So let's go ahead and say top margin. So we can add a little bit of margin to the top. Let's say 10. So that way, this is going to be a little bit below the class begins, and we have a little separation that's there. Now, all we need to do to edit out this, this particular video, this is actually a GIF that was on their site. And you can see that it's a moving image. And so this is actually to drive people to a particular video or to fill out a form. And so if we take a look at this, you can see we have an image that is here. What I would actually do is I would recommend changing that image out for a video and add a video into this section. You can simply do that by going to YouTube. Pull this over here for a second. All right, and you can go to your YouTube channel. And you can grab a specific link from YouTube. So you can hit this copy button right here, copy the video link, and then all you have to do is paste the video link directly in. Now, if you want this to autoplay, you just click this little toggle and you can autoplay the video. And also you can take a look at controls and your width down below. So if we change the width of the video, it's going to change the size in that particular column or in that row. So you can do half width, you can do 3/4 width, you can do full width, depending on how you want to actually display that image. I'd recommend doing full width for this section. Where it says register your seat now, again, we want to go ahead and modify all of this. So I'm going to say webinar begins. We've got the time breakdown and learn how to sell your home in the shortest, well, let's just say seller webinar. All right, so now we've got to change the button. Now, essentially, you guys, you just go all the way down the list. Where you see an image, you edit the image. Where you see words, you go ahead and change out those words. So this would be a picture of yourself, maybe another agent that's on your team, and then you'd have your name, real estate agent, down below. You can move in and add another image into here about selling their house and providing them with a free guide. So what we could do here is, let's just say this is for one of our agents. I know I saw a picture of Merlene Murthel in here. So I'll just go ahead and grab Merlene really fast. All right, and the image is a little bit on the small side. So what I'm going to do is increase that pixel height. And let's go to 100. That was weird. Let's go 300 here. So the width is what we want to change, 500. Let me see if I can actually optimize image load. So I will optimize. And this is going to be separate columns. I'll grab another image of Merlene here. All right, now you can see this color code came through as white because it's not bolded. So you can either change that color code there, or we could go ahead and grab the text and we could make the text bold, which would actually change the color code automatically. So grab here and go bold. Now we've made that text bold. One of the things I accidentally just did though was duplicated this Realtor section. Make this Realtor as well. And do this. So each one of these sections, again, you just need to make sure that you go through, modify, edit, make it your own. We've almost completely funnel hacked an entire funnel in just a couple of short minutes. And then once I'm done with this, you guys, I'm going to show you how to build this exact same funnel from scratch just by looking at one of your competitors' funnels. So let's say secrets you need to know to sell your home. All right, what I'm going to say is, in this seller's guide, You will learn helpful tips and tricks that will help you sell your home in the least amount of time possible. All right, and then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to jump over to listings to leads, and I'm going to go ahead and pull up one of these sellers guides and grab the image from it so that I can use that in this particular funnel that we're building out. So we go into our PDFs on the left side, and let's go ahead and say seller, first time home sellers guide. Let me see. There's got to be more. There's the ultimate home sellers guide in here. I thought, let's go ahead and remove this from search. There we go. Ultimate guide to selling a home. So I'm actually going to save this image here. Save this onto my computer. And then what I can do is jump back over. I'm going to change this image out to the new image that I just downloaded. So we're going to go into upload in the top right corner. Once we've gone into the image, we're going to go ahead and double click on the image and it will load it in. Now I can select that by simply double clicking. And now we have this ultimate guide to selling your home right here. And we've replaced that image. So secrets you'll need to know when selling your home. Now, another thing that I wanted to do is download this actual PDF. And the reason I want to do that is I want a couple of ideas for what I can plug into right here. So we've got the offers that are all ready to rock on this PDF. Now we've just got to, or in this section, now we've just got to grab some of our headlines out here. So first time home sellers guide. Okay, questions to ask when selling a home. So let's go ahead and jump over. All right, so secret number 2. Let's go ahead and move into this. Let's say 6 questions to ask yourself, or 6 questions to ask before selling your home. How to buy or sell during the pandemic, virtual home selling, cost of living in the US. Let's see what else. Say we do how to increase your home's value for the least amount of money. And we'll jump back over. And let's say 25 factors that impact your home's value. So right there, we were able to grab some really quick copy right out of one of our PDF guides that we have available to us inside of Listings Leads. Now, what you guys need to do at this point in time is go ahead and change this particular button. What I would do with this is I would actually make this button be a download so that you have 2 separate offers in the same landing page. So what I go ahead and do is I would say, download your free guide now. And now you have a button. I would point this to the pop-up, which is already opening. And then in the pop-up, I would actually have the pop-up be the exact same thing as your registration. So what we need to do here is actually add in a form. So ClickFunnels forms don't load in as when you actually have a form that moves over. A form isn't going to fill all of the custom fields and be created when you're moving over a ClickFunnels. So be sure to keep the page up so that you can actually take a look and see what that form looks like. So you can see this is just going to be their logo at the top, enter your information below and how to reserve your spot for this free web class. So we'll go ahead and funnel hack this as well. So the logo that we used in the pop-up was, let's go ahead and do this, and we will say add an image. I'm gonna move this up. So the image, the logo that we used at the top was this particular logo. So we will click in and find that logo. Oh no, because I imported the page, it's a long ways away. Why won't it let me see? Okay, sorry guys. So I'm just gonna scroll on down until I can find that thing. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and grab the EXP logo to save time. And I want this to be quite a bit smaller. So I'm just going to make the width on this 200 and our actual pixel width here for the image and shorten the image down. Now I do need to actually create a form and change the text that's below. I'm just going to remove that particular text. So go ahead and hit save on this. And there was also a subheadline or a call to action that we had just below that. So I'm going to hit save, and we're going to back out of this funnel. We're actually going to create the form that we want so that we can capture information. Now, you guys, I'd recommend capturing more info than just a name and an email address. This tactic is so that you can build up your emailing list and you can continue to email those individuals. This would be a good strategy if you wanted to send somebody, you know, homes that are available on the MLS on a safe search and just keep dripping properties out to them. If you want to just collect email addresses, that would be a good way to stay in front of those guys. But I always recommend capturing a phone number, because the most common form of communication to happen right now today is actually texting. So the highest response that you're going to get is from a text message. So I'd highly recommend capturing a phone number as well. But we're going to go ahead and jump back over and move into the forms section. And you guys, you also have surveys available as well. We can move into the form builder. From the form builder, all I'm going to do is actually click create new. You can see we've got a ton of different forms that have been built in our platform. I'm going to call this test for live training. All right, and I'm going to save the name. All right, so this form, one of the things that you guys are going to see automatically on a form is that they always have this little checkbox around them, this border. So the first thing that I actually do is I go ahead and just bring the border radius down to 0 so I can get rid of the border all the way around it, because I think it looks a lot crisper and cleaner without it. Now, one thing to take a look at was the fields that we had on there. So it was full name, and then they also had email address, but we want to add phone number in as well. So you guys, all of your forms can use any of the custom fields that are available in your account. And so you'll see the standard full name, first name, last name, phone number, email, organization, address, city, state, country, postal code, website, source, date of birth, text, HTML. This is if you want to add any type of code. You can add a custom script into that form, do all sorts of cool things with that custom script. You can also add in images. You can add in a CAPTCHA, so they have to actually select, you know, the number of stop signs in an image, those kinds of things before they can move forward. And you can add buttons. So outside of just doing your regular form or your fields though, let's say you had a piece of information that you wanted to gather that wasn't pre-built into your CRM. You could always go in and go to custom fields, and at the very bottom, you can add a custom field, and you have a ton of different field types that you can choose from. So you guys, you can do text boxes, which is going to be a regular text box. You can do a large text, which is going to actually look like an actual paragraph would with that large text box. You guys can do boxes that are numerical value only. So for example, if you were asking for price ranges that they're looking for in a home, you could actually have them go and manually type out those price ranges. I'd recommend not doing it, but you could. You can always also have phone numbers, monetary values, check boxes. So this would be multiple different choices, and they can check those specific choices in that box. You're going to have radio buttons, which let's just say test. And let's say yes or no. So you can add in different fields for possible answers with radio buttons. And then once you create that custom field, once you plug it into your form, you're going to see that you either have a little circle to click yes or a little circle to click no right below. So just a couple of different options in how you can display your custom fields in your forms. But let's go ahead and take this particular form. I'm just going to say get access now, and let's click back on the form. We have to delete everything from here, and then let's just say get access now. One thing I also want to do is take a look and see what the color scheme was again. So our button that we had on here was red, and I'm going to stick with that theme because it goes with the Superman cape and all of that good stuff. So we want to change the background color of this button to go ahead and meet that. So I'm going to go and find red, and we'll just go with the best red that we can find. And then I also want to make this full width, and let's make the button a little bit bigger. There we go. So now I'm just going to go ahead and save this form, and it's named test for live training. All I then have to do is go back to my funnels. I can click into the funnel that I was just that we just started and click edit page, edit, and then edit page. Now all I need to do is go back to that section where we just added in a funnel, which was, or a form, which was in the pop-up, and then we go ahead and click on the form itself. And you can see we can click the drop down and we can select that particular form that we just created. So test for live training. There we go. And let's take a look and see what we had here. Enter your information below to reserve your spot for this free web class. And I'm just going to say, provide your info. Say to save. Make this webinar. All right, hit save. I'm going to go ahead and refresh the page because it won't let me click out of the pop-up. Awesome. And let's just make sure that it's still there. Perfect. So it's saved. All right. And then all we'd have to do is edit the images that we had down here at the bottom. And again, I'm going to go ahead and add that EXP logo in. All right. And let's say 2022. And you guys, if you have privacy terms, all of that kind of stuff, if you guys are with EXP, you guys can use your privacy agreements that you have with your KV Core websites, but you can go ahead and change all of these different texts. You can see each one of these has their own link that you can send it to. And all you have to do to add a link to something is if you highlight it inside of the text, make sure that you don't have any spaces behind it. You can add a link right here and post in a particular URL. Then that will create a link in the image or in the actual text so that they can click and send them to a particular website. Now, one thing to note, you have a link text color, and your link text color will change when you add a link. So you can see here that if I add a link to this and I just say, okay, let's go to https://google.com. Now the text of that image, or the text color, is actually going to change because this now has a link that's on it. So make sure that you guys recognize that. If you want that, if you ever want to change your actual color of your link text, you can do that very easily just by clicking on the text box itself and managing the colors of the different types of text. You can also change the color of underlined text, italic, bold, or you can also change up icons. And so what an icon is, let's say in this particular text box, I wanted to add an icon at the front. All I have to do is click on this icon box here. You can see we have all these different icons that are available. Now, let's say, for example, you wanted to search for a calendar to tell somebody to book an appointment. You can grab a calendar icon and it'll show up at the front of your text just like that. X that out. So super cool. You guys can add in icons anywhere, all that good stuff. So that you can complete the page. Now there is some custom script at the bottom, and it looks like this is a cookie pop-up for ClickFunnels, just to make sure that you accept cookies and all of that good stuff once you get to their website. So you go ahead and delete that. I'm going to delete these two things at the bottom as well because we don't have access to the privacy menu, and click save. All right, So that's how you go in and pull a funnel so that you can hack that funnel directly from ClickFunnels and be able to create something that's very similar to what was originally out there in front of you. Now, if you guys want to actually build this from scratch, that's going to be the next step that we're going to take. And this is going to take a little bit of time. So I hope you guys are ready for a longer training for the day.
Bryan, will you show how to do the download as well?
I'm sorry?
Will you show how to do the download?
So what I would do for the download, if we're actually focusing on this particular download for the seller's guide, instead of having this actually go to download something, one thing you could do is you could change this. You do this in a couple of different ways. I want to capture their information, so I'm going to drive them to that forum so that they can fill out that form. But if you wanted to, say, for example, give that information for free, what you could do is once you've downloaded that particular PDF, you could go into your drive with Google. And from your Google Drive, you can go ahead and you can do a file upload. So I could upload that guide directly into Google. And once that loads in, what is it named? Ultimate. I have so many things in my drive, guys. All right, so the ultimate guide to selling your home. So let's say guide. All right, the ultimate guide to selling your home right here. So what you can do is you can actually open this up and then you can go to share it. And you can say copy link right here. So you can go ahead and copy that link. First, you actually want to open it up to anyone with link. You can copy it, and then you can actually have this button go directly to that landing page. So instead of opening the pop-up, you can do a website URL. And so this button, and we'll open in a new tab. If we do that, I can go ahead and preview. And this is going to take them directly to that link once they click the button. And they'll be able to open up the Google Drive with that PDF. So that's one way so they can download the link automatically. Or if you want to capture their information, what you'll do is you'll run that button to the pop-up with your form. And then once you've gone ahead and built out your whole website or your funnel, what you want to do is create an automation based off of that form being submitted. So what you would do is actually create a workflow for this. So instead of being in sites, now what we would do is move into automations. And I'll go ahead and create a workflow from scratch, start from scratch. And let's go ahead and click create new workflow. And what we're going to do is we're going to name this Seller's Guide Download. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the trigger be that form that was submitted once they fill that out. So I'm going to search for form under actions. And the reason I search for it, you guys, is because there's a ton of different actions that you can do in here, and it just makes it easier to find it. So once a form has been submitted, what we're going to then do is add filters. So I'm going to rename this form Seller's Guide Form Submission. That way I know what the action is here in the workflow builder. And then I'm going to select form is. And then from the drop down, I'm going to search for test because I did test for live training was the name of it. I'm going to select that particular form. Now I hit save trigger. And once that form is filled out, now I can trigger any action off of that I want to. So let's say I wanted to send them a text message with the link to the download. So I'm going to go ahead and copy the link again. So I want to send them hello, and let's go ahead and add in some custom fields because we just captured their name. Hello first name. Oh, that's user. So let's go custom fields. Hello contact first name, comma. Thank you for requesting a copy of my seller's guide. You can download it by clicking this link. Then you just go ahead and paste in your link for the Google Drive download. Or if you guys want to take this one step further, you can create a trigger link. And what a trigger link can do is actually give you some tracking on how many times somebody's actually clicked on your link and you can have that particular link also do certain actions. So what we can do with this trigger link is once they actually go to this page, or if they've already submitted their information, we could create a trigger link off of this particular action. So let's actually jump back. I'm going to go ahead and publish this and hit save for right now. So this is going to send out a text message with a link for them to download so that they can access that. Now let's go ahead and hop back over though, and let's take a look at trigger links. It should be under conversations. You can then go into trigger links and you can add a new link. Now we could say seller's guide download. Now, once we've saved that link, you can see we've got the seller's guide download. See, we have a link here, but now what that gives us the ability to do is inside of automations or inside of forums or anything along those lines, seller, we could go ahead and have that trigger link perform a particular task. So let's say we wanted this to be a trigger link clicked. You could also create a completely new workflow based off of that trigger link clicked. So let's say that it was a seller's guide is clicked. So that seller's guide is clicked. You could do a couple of different things. What I would do is I would do an internal notification. And I would send an internal notification to yourself that somebody clicked on that trigger link. And then you can also send text messages out to them as well on a delayed response, say 5 minutes after they clicked on the link, saying, hey, I saw you clicked on the link and got access to the seller's guide. Do you have any questions around that? So I'd actually do these as two separate workflows with two different triggers, but I wanted to show you guys what you could do with those as well. I'm actually going to create an email on here as well. When you create your email, you guys go ahead and add in your from name. So I'm just going to say Bryan Clark and info@leads2roi.com. Subject test. Let's just say seller's guide. And hello, we'll go ahead and plug in a custom value here. Contact first name, comma. Thank you for requesting a copy of my seller's guide. You can download it by clicking the link here. And then what we can actually do is we can go to trigger links and we can add that trigger link in. And now anytime they click on this link to download that, that PDF, we're going to be notified that they clicked on that link. There's going to be a record that shows that they actually clicked on it and that they downloaded it. And then you can create an actual automation behind that so that you can send more info to them. So slight tangent that we're going to go on. I'm going to now show you how to create that particular trigger on the back end. So let's say we want to start from scratch again, or that workflow, excuse me. And this is going to be trigger link clicked. Let's just say seller's guide download. And we'll go ahead and go here. This is going to be triggers. So trigger link clicked, add a filter. And then we're going to say trigger link is, and we'll pick the select seller's guide. And now we can create an auction. So let's say I went ahead and put a wait on here for 5 minutes. That way we gave them time to go ahead and take a look at that particular download. So we want to send them a text message. You can then say, hello, contact first name. I saw that you just downloaded our seller's guide. Do you have any questions that I can answer for you? Thanks. Clark. You can go ahead and hit save. What you can also do is you can immediately have that notification come to you. So I would say internal notification. And depending on how you want to receive that notification, whether you want an email, whether you want it to be a notification from your mobile app or a text message, you can make those selections here. I recommend doing the notification from your mobile app. It's going to save you usage charges. But go ahead and select notifications. You'd add a title. So I would say seller's guide downloaded. And then in the message, I would go ahead and add contact. Well, let's say contact full name. Contact full name. So I'm going to say name, say phone, email. So this way you guys have all of their contact info in your in your actual notification. That way, if you accidentally click off of it or something, you can utilize those resources. Name, and go ahead and go into contact and email. So we've got contact name, contact phone, contact email. So you get a notification that the title would say seller's guide downloaded and then their information. You can also go ahead and move this to a redirect. So you can move the redirect from your internal notification, either to the contact, to the conversation that you're having with them, or to the opportunity in your guys' pipeline stage. So a lot of customization that you guys can do with your notifications to make sure that you're moving to the right spot or the right location when you click on that actual notification. And then you can select which user this is for and who would actually receive that. So you can say to a particular user, or to all users, a particular user, which you could then select a user from the drop down, or you could select user assigned to the contact, and then it will just go that way. If you are a one-man show or a one-stop or one person entity or one person business, I'd recommend just clicking the all users. That way, even if that contact isn't assigned to you in the system, you still get the notification for it. All we have to do is click save action now, and we can save this workflow. Now, you guys, taking this one step further. So let's say that we've ran an ad out there and we've gotten somebody to go ahead and download our seller's guide from the funnel that we just created. One thing that you can also do with this is, let's say that you had video ads that you were running on Facebook where you were breaking down a seller seminar on how to sell your home in the shortest amount of time. You could take a actual snippet of that. You want to make it under 3 minutes, but you can take a clip from that video and you can actually create that as a Facebook ad itself. So one of the things that I would do is, if you look under all the different actions that you can do in workflows, is I would go into this Facebook add to custom audience. I'd create a custom audience in Facebook for sellers. And what I would do is I would have one of the next actions in here, have it be to move that particular Facebook client to an audience. So let's just say that we have, so we can see this is one of our clients, Manny. He's always given us permission to use his accounts when we're doing lives and those kinds of things. So what we've just selected is Manny's leads. So essentially what we could do is anybody that clicks on this particular trigger then funnels into that Facebook audience for your leads, and you can start your retargeting and remarketing campaigns automatically by having an ad running consistently to that audience. And as you have people that are clicking on and downloading that particular PDF guide or that form or that free handout that you're giving them, you can then have them automatically added into a Facebook audience so that you can continue to remarket and re-engage them until you get that conversation going. So I'm actually going to unpublish this just in case that link gets clicked, because I don't want to add anybody to Manny's audience. I'm going to delete this as well. But some really cool things that you guys can do inside of your workflows to make sure that you can manage all of those folks that are flowing in. Now, let's go ahead and take this from the top again, and we will show you guys how to build this funnel from scratch without having an import. So I know there's a lot of competitors that you guys are going to find out there that are not using ClickFunnels. They may be using a different type of software. Maybe they're using Leads to ROI or something very similar that you can't actually import that funnel in. So I'm going to show you guys how to actually recreate that funnel very quickly. So what we're going to do is go to new funnel, and I'm just going to name this start from scratch. And I'm going to go ahead and copy this. Go create funnel, add a step, start from scratch. Path is going to be start from scratch. I'm going to go ahead and click create funnel. Now I'm going to create this one from blank. And I'm going to be doing a lot of jumping back and forth because I'm going to show you guys how to create this exact funnel from scratch. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add a full width column in here. Then I'm going to go ahead and add a row. Now, as I look at this, it looks like the very first row that's in here is just one row. And then this is one row as well. And then we're split into 2 rows. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go ahead and set this up based on how I see this website laid out. So the first thing I'm going to do is add 1 row. All right, so I've got that. Now I'm going to add my 2 rows. So I'm going to go ahead and add another row, and I'm going to do 2 rows here. Then we're going to go ahead and take a look at this. And it looks like this is actually where this particular column ends. So in this first row, it looks like we have an image at the top. So I'm going to add an image here. Then it looks like we have a subheadline, a headline, and a subheadline. So I'm going to go subheadline. I'm going to go headline, headline, subheadline. Okay, now I've got those laid out. Now I'm going to take a look and see what this is. So this is actually just a GIF that drives you to submit your information so that you can see the class. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually do something a little bit different. I'm going to move to Loom, and I am going to grab a Loom video that we have, and let's go and act like we're going to share this. So let's go ahead and just click on this. I'm going to share it, and I can copy the GIF. So I'm going to go ahead and copy the GIF. I'm going to paste it in. Oh no, it won't let me paste it into there. Copy thumbnail code. I want to actually embed this as an image. Let's see if I can save it from here. So it saves as the web page. Well, let's just go and search for GIFs. All right, I like this one. So let's go ahead and copy. Let's go ahead and save this GIF. Simpsons. All right, jump back to the funnel builder. So at the very top, again, we're going to add in logo. Let's go ahead and scroll down and find that EXP logo again. Add that in at the top. All right, now I want this to be much smaller. So I'm going to make this 200 pixels wide. All right, we've got our call to actions. This was going to be an image. All right, and so now what I'm going to do is go ahead and upload this file. Now the Simpsons GIF is uploaded, and now that is added to the page here. Now, the next element that we're looking at, we have a text box. We have a text box, a countdown timer, and the button. So what we're going to do here is we're going to add in subheadline. It was a countdown and a button. So we go ahead and add that button in. Now let's just keep this right in line. So let's say we want to use the icon for ticket. So you can see I had the ticket stub that was on there. So we want to add the ticket stub. And let's say we want to go ahead and change this to register for webinar. And let's actually add another icon at the end. Let's go ticket. All right, so now we've got an icon at the front and an icon at the end for ticket. We can leave this green if we want. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we have here. So class begins, webinar begins. And let's just say July 28th, 4 o'clock. PM PST. All right, and then we go into our countdown timer. We go ahead and we select our date. All right, so this is actually set for counting down a particular time. I want this to be counting down to a date. One second, let's look. Do we have different kinds of timers? Okay, here we go, countdown. So now we need to go ahead and select our date. So we want this to be, end date is going to be the 28th, and we're going to do this at 4:00 p.m. And we select our time zone. And I want this to be PST. There we go. America, Los Angeles. All right, so register for free webinar. All right, now we also want to make sure that we add an image in the background here so that we can make this section pop and stand out. So get this built out. Let's go ahead and add that Superman image in that we grabbed earlier. Oh, whoops, not that one. The Superman image. All right, so we've got the Superman image in the background, and then we can go ahead. Then this free webinar. Going to sell for top. All right, I'm going to go ahead and bold these. And I kind of want to add something behind this text because it's a little bit, it's going to be hard to read in some spots where it's not bold. So you can always go ahead and add a background color to that section. And you can see that's actually what they did here. So they added background colors to that particular section so that the words actually stood out a little bit. So we'll go ahead and add this to all of these. All right, and for time purposes, I'm actually just going to copy these. I do not recommend anybody to do this, but I'm just going to do this to save some time for today's live training. Now, another thing that I would do is you can see how Russell Brunson's actually made all of this white text so that it's a lot easier to see. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go through each of these boxes. I'm going to change that text color over to white. Now, remember where you've done bold text, you need to make sure that you change the full text in that particular section, whether it is the regular text color itself or bold, because each different type you can change. Now, another thing that I would look at here as well, you guys, this is some just ordinary regular headline font. If you want to go in and look up custom fonts, we have a custom font section here that you can click on. Go to default font, and then you can use any of these four defaults, or you can choose a font family from Google. So let's say we wanted to use with this Archivo Black. It's going to make things a lot more bold, and it's going to change up your particular, it's going to change up your entire font for that text box. So we can go ahead and we can add that font in all the way down the line. And we can make everything pop just a little bit more by changing that font out. So again, we go to font, default, and then once you add an actual font into a funnel, that font is going to be able to be displayed, right there on your funnel. So I'm going to do the same thing with these. Let's go ahead and make the background on this so that these things pop. It's like I can't do a background color on this. What I'll do is add one to this whole section then. So we'll grab the purple box so we can grab this whole row. And we will go ahead and we'll add that dark text here. We'll remove it from this one and this one. All right, now what we want to do is take this text and make the text white. So this needs to be transparent. Grab the text, make the text on these white so those pop, and then we will make this white as well. This. We'll go ahead and add a little bit of top margin to this, or top padding, excuse me. Nope, not padding, margin. And let's just say 15. That way we bring the button down a little bit from the rest of the messaging. And I want this all to match. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to change this font over to the Archivo Black. So we'll go ahead and click on the next one. And we will go to the font here, custom font. There we go. And I don't believe I can change it on this one. Oh, I can. So let's go custom font. Add that in. So now we've updated the font on all of those. And you can also do that on your button as well. So that way everything matches. All right, now the next thing that we need to do now that we've got this top section done, looks like we have a new section that has been split into two columns right here. So this is actually going to be, we go to the green box and we're going to go full width and start over with a new column. Then we're going to move into adding in our 2 rows. And we're going to do this and add in the 2 rows. So you guys, we're just going to go column by column. And as we see this laid out on the page in front of us, we're going to go ahead and mimic that and lay it out for ourselves. So we can see the background on this was actually white. So we made the background of this section white. And then as you can see on this funnel, it looks like these actually are up into the section that are above it. So how do we do that? We actually need to remove some of our top margin. And so we can do a negative here and we could say -20. So you can see -20 raised this section up just a little bit. Let's go ahead and say -30. There we go. Now we're over the top, just over the edge here. We can go into advanced and then we could add a full border around this. And then once we add a border, we can then add in the corner radius of the border. So you can see this is rounding these edges here. So let's go ahead and say that we want to do 20. Okay, so that rounds the edges off. See how round we are here. So we're probably at about a 10 or a 15 if we want to really 10. 10's right there. Now we also want to go back in this border. We want to take a look at the colors of the border. I actually want the border to be the exact same color as the rest of this section. I'm just doing that to round this section at the very top when it comes into this part of the funnel. So let's jump back over. And we actually had an image next to, I did this wrong. So this is actually a 4-column section right here instead of a 2-column. So this would be 4 columns like this. We'll go ahead and delete this section. Take this, we're going to then do the -30 on our top margin. Whoops. -30, advanced. Do this one more time. So we'll go full border. Border color is going to be transparent. Border radius was 10 pixels. Perfect. And actually the background color on this was white. So there we go. Now we have that set up. Now what we added in was a image. There is a text box. Oops. So subheadline, and here we're going to add a subheadline and add a subheadline. So let's go ahead and take a look. So we've got an image of the two course creators, and those that are going to be delivering the course to them. So if this was let's just say we're using this for a buyer webinar, a buyer seminar, something along those lines, you'd have yourself and your lender on here, so that you can have an image of yourself and somebody else. But I'm going to go ahead and just grab 2 random images of people that we have on in our funnel builder, just so that we can make this simple. And let's go ahead and grab Merlene and click on this one. We'll add one more. Now let's add Willie. There we go. Makes things easy. Let's say all right, then this is going to be William Grader, expert marketer. All right, and let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got. Then we've got an image. And what we did last time was we went ahead and added in, let's go do image. We did on the last one is we added in that seller's guide. So we're going to do the exact same thing here, you guys. Grab the cover for that ultimate seller's guide. Then we're going to add in a headline, subheadline, subheadline. So we've got headline, subheadline. All right, this is paragraph, subheadline, subheadline, subheadline. So we'll do one more. We'll just clone that, and then I'm going to add the paragraph here. All right, so say claim your free seller's guide or download. Get the ultimate seller's guide that will teach, or that will show you how you can sell your home for top dollar in the shortest amount of time. All right, then we had secret number one. Let's go ahead and bold this. Let's make that bold a different color. So we want the bold to be red. So secret number one. And I also want this to be moved to the left. I want all of these to be moved to the left so that everything kind of looks uniform and it's not all just, you know, centered. Let's say secret number one. Remember, you guys, we went into the actual PDF and we went and grabbed these. So the first one that we did was questions to ask when selling your home. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy that. All right, then we'll go like this. Change the bold color on this text box. Again, we're going to use this pinkish red. I'm going to do that again, and I'm going to add the bold color here. That way it just saves me a little bit of time. You can do it one fell swoop. Bold text color, red. Whoops. And go Control V. There we go. So secret number two and secret number three. All right, so now what I'm going to do is jump back over and grab another one of the secrets from this guide. And the one that I liked was how to increase your home value for the least amount of money. Jump back over, paste that in, go back to here. And the last one was, I'm just gonna say 12 mistakes to avoid when selling your home. All right, now I don't like that this font throughout here doesn't match what's at the top. So what I'm going to do is go to each one of these different text boxes, and we're going to go in and we are going to modify that font. So we're going to go to custom font. We're going to do that archival black. I'm going to do the same thing on all of these. So this text box, custom font. This text box, custom font. All right, and then this, here we go. Just going down the list and just making sure that the font matches throughout. All right, so now the next thing that we need to do is actually add a button down below this. So we're going to add that button, and we're going to make this button red.
Oh no, not the text. Text is going to be white. Background color is going to be red. And let's make this button. I want the location to be centered. And let's say download. All right, so let's go ahead and grab this download icon. And we will change the text to download free guide. All right, and I'll also add this icon to the back. So let's say download. There we go. So now we've got icon front and back, download this free guide. Now you guys, I want to actually move this button down a little bit and give it some space from the text that's above it. So all I have to do again is go and take a look at top margin. And we can add, say, 10 top margin on that, bring that down just a little bit so it's got some space. Then I'm actually going to jump over into animations and I'm going to add a button effect. So I can make this bounce like this. I can make it rock like this. We can make it elevate when you go over it. You can have it wobble when you hover over it. Or you can have no effect at all. Oh, you can also have it glow. So when you hover over it, it's supposed to glow a different color. Out of all of the different animations that you guys saw, which one did you like the most? I'm just going to go with the bounce. One thing about the bounce I don't like though is it's moving into the text above it. So I am actually going to add a little bit more margin to the top. We'll bring that to 15. There we go. Now I'm going to have that open and pop up. Let's take a look at this funnel. Looks like at the very bottom, the last thing that we have to do is just go ahead and add our logo at the bottom in a new section because we want to change the color. So I'm going to go ahead and add a full width section down, a full width row down below, and then we're going to go ahead and add in a single column. And in that column, we are going to go ahead and add an image. From the image, we'll go ahead and select that EXP logo. And then I'm going to bring that down again to 200 pixels for the width. And this section, we want to change the color, make it something a little bit darker so it pops and stands out. And let's take a look here. So that's all open. All right, and one thing that I noticed is this section on that funnel is a different color than the rest of this. So I'm going to actually change the color of this section here. Let's make this something. Just want it to be a little bit of an off-white. Save that. There we go. So now you can see we've got that off-white. This box pops out and stands out. Let's take a look at the box below. So this just sits there just like that. So we don't need that to pop out or stand out. All right, awesome. So that is really close to what we were just looking at, except for we added a different GIF here and all of those different places. Next thing you guys would want to do is go in and create your pop-up. So your pop-up, we're going to go ahead and add a column. We're then going to add that image. Once we add the image, we're going to go ahead and add a headline. Then we're going to add a form. We're going to jump back over. We're going to grab our image for our logo. Have that at the very top of the form. And again, you guys, we need to shorten that down to 200 pixels. So we're going to go ahead and make this smaller, 200 for the width. Download your free guide and access the seller webinar now. And then we can go ahead and click on our form, and then we can select the test for live training and hit save. So now we've got our pop-up completed, everything's done. We've just got to make sure that all of our buttons point to the right location. So this register for webinar button, we need to make sure that it's going to open pop-up. This download free guide, we need to make sure that's opening up pop-up. I would also make this image have an action to open the pop-up, and this image have an action to open the pop-up. So now you've got all of these different buttons driving people to the pop-up. You've got the image driving them to the pop-up. We can save, and then we can go ahead and preview this site over on, we can go ahead and preview the site as a landing page and see what it looks like. So we do the preview of the site. We've changed up quite a few things, but it's very, very similar to what we just looked at over on ClickFunnels. We just completely hacked this funnel in 2 ways. One, by copying and pasting the URL and just making changes and edits to that particular funnel. And 2, building it from scratch by going column by column, row by row, and filling in and adding the elements that needed to be displayed on that particular page. So that should go ahead and conclude our training today for building your guys' funnels and getting those set up from scratch. Do we have any questions before we wrap up live training today? Awesome, you guys. I appreciate everybody joining, and we will see you guys next Wednesday at 1 o'clock, unless we have something going on like a baby appointment. But I look forward to seeing everybody then. Thank you, guys.